Alright, I guess I'm showing you the weird games I have today. I'm not going to be doing the more common, well-known games. We're sitting outside with this weird looking thing, and we're going to play some Marble Saga. So, it's a cutesy game, and it's a simple idea of how to play. You're going to use your Wii Remote and kind of, control the actual surroundings of where the ball is, and you have to collect these little gems. Collect all the green ones, you get a secret. You want to try collect the orange ones, and if you don't, you'll be punished and sent back to the start. It's very simple. You know, you're on a certain planet, so you're gonna have to pick whether you want to do the easy mode or the normal mode. You can use the Wii Balance Board, which is very interesting. I haven't had a chance to use the Wii Balance Board yet, but I'm sure it works perfectly fine. If not, let me know. Um, but for now, we're gonna use the Wii Remote. It's very responsive. You can actually view if you want to have it, how you want to split the screen up for your second player, and an autosave option that you can turn on and off. Real simple options here. We're just going to get back into the game though. So let's jump right into it. We got the world map, a few options, free mode, and tutorial. We don't need a tutorial right now. It's just teaching you how to play. We'll look at the options real quick. You get the yellow music room. And this game has some, strange, interesting music. You might want to listen to it. Rankings of how well you've done. And a few unlockable secret codes you can add into the game and make it more, accessible. Or difficult as you want. You also have a few of the... Now, free mode, you actually can pick through the normal stages, or you can do a survival mode. If you ever played a fighting game before, you know what survival mode is like. You just pick where you want to be in. There's a couple of stations, 8 for now. You actually unlock balls as you go by. They each have different abilities and stats, I would say. We're going to pick the normal ball just to start off. See, so right now I'm using the Wii Remote to control how this balance board is actually moving. Wish I could show you the Wii Remote too, so you know how responsive the game is. But it's really one for one. It's actually doing exactly what I'm doing with my Wii Remote. It's very controllable. It's very responsive. It's really great. Of course, you have to actually work your way through it and kind of slow down later in stages, and there'll be like little obstacles, and there'll be all sorts of loop-de-loops and parts where there's like a little puzzle where you have to open a door by maybe coming on a panel. Maybe situations where going faster is the best option, or going slowly is the best option. Right now there's barriers because it's the easy mode, so I'm not really going to have too much trouble falling off. Later in the game, it gets a lot harder. And since it's survival mode, you can keep on going. The great thing about this game is it's cheap. It's very cheap, and it's accessible, I should say. There's all sorts of things you can do in the game. Like you just saw, there's a little magnet that picked me up. There's a lot of exploration because you want to figure out how to get past little sections in the whole feel of the game, and how it's like a kind of a kitty-made little puzzle that someone looks like they just made in their spare time and decided to, hey, try this out. We'll have a little fun with this. It really speaks to the game itself. Got little if you see right here, ladybugs crawling on your apparatus here. The only problem I can say is it would be nice if those ladybugs actually moved a lot. It would be nice if a lot more was put into the surroundings itself. As you see, the background is kind of bland and just a picture, pretty much. It'd be nice if you saw stuff in the background to enhance the gameplay a little bit. But this is we're done. Now, at any time, you can actually pause and kind of look at the map itself and kind of plan out your strategy and see everything that's really there. So it kind of makes it easier. If you don't want to use that ability, you don't have to. Now, there's a ton of stages, and I'm just going through the normal modes, but there is a storyline. But just to give you a little overview. There's a space. It changes in varies a little bit, but you're still gonna get the same stage, but with a different background and kind of elaborate sequences of how to get through each stage themselves. These are just some of the beginning stages, and as you saw, it gets a lot harder, a lot more difficult and elaborate. So now we're gonna go through the main idea. We need to help this guy Anthony with his little life goals of floating through the air on little pollen pieces, and he has this little world of his right here, and that's where your adventure starts originally. It's full of junk, and Anthony's house is over here if you want to visit that. Later on you unlock more levels and it gets a little more difficult, of course, as I said, and you unlock more balls. You can see there's responsive time, there's speed, slide, and bounce. Sometimes more levels going to need you to bounce more to get past some obstacles. You want to have that ability to just kind of skip parts if you want to get a good time on your score or something. Responsiveness is very important. Also, I would say slide is something you don't really need too much. You want it to be kind of there when you need it. You don't want it to be sliding all over the place on the map and you can't really control it. Anyway, that's just my personal preference. There's a lot of balls you can get in the game, and you can unlock them and just keep playing as you go along and figure out what's the best for you. One of those balls might not be best for you if you're like me and you're not that great at the game. You get a lot better. Hopefully a lot better than me. And as always, a nice little gimme is that they actually let you play all the levels even if you did not unlock them in the story mode. You can just go into the free mode and just play through them. I would have to say is another thing is this game does need some calibrating sometimes. So once in a while you'll feel like it's kind of off. For the most part, the controls are well done. But once in a while, you'll feel kind of like you need to really kind of reorient yourself with the control, or kind of, figure out a way to just regulate what's going on. If it's like too tilted when you're not really tilting it at all, you're gonna have to try to cope with it and figure out how to make it work, I should say. And that falling off and jumping off the edge will happen a lot. And there's 4 players, so you don't have to do this all alone. There's little things you can do, like jumps on purpose, like tilting the actual controls upside down and putting it back up. I'm not too good at that, but you can kind of skip through level sections, and there's a lot of things you can do in here. If you get good at it enough, you'll really enjoy the game. Whoops. Unlike how I'm doing. And like I said, I wish there was a little more in the background, like besides a picture. There is stuff floating in the background, like little 3D sharks and stuff. But there's the actual background itself is a little lacking, and would have to say that they do have a few nice touches, like the water, the bubbles, and stuff like that. But you really are gonna want more, and very often you're probably gonna need to recalibrate your controller because it's not using Wii Motion Plus. I believe it's not, so it's not as responsive once in a while. So these later harder levels are gonna be quite a task. This being one of those hard levels, you will have to actually balance on these little boards. Come on, oops. Luckily, this game doesn't has infinite retries. It's just more important to get your time specifically correct more than anything else. See if we can get that. Things in an environment like the wind will actually affect your ball, and what you can expect from the game. Like I said, I think it's a good option to try this game out. Just giving you guys a chance to listen to the wacky music. The little cat, actually, if you can listen carefully, meows every few seconds. It gets really annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Yep, and as you see, because I didn't collect all those little gems, I can't leave. And that restarts you right from the beginning to collect them. Now, nice thing is your little friend will talk to you on the side and he'll say, I'm hungry, and try to nag you on. If you can also see a little gauge that tells you how you're tilting your Wii remote. Because essentially, it's like you're actually rolling this little ball on your Wii remote. Because wherever you do with your Wii remote, it will respond and do. If I turn this upside down, the whole world would turn upside down for that person. But don't get too into the idea that this is gonna be an easy game, because it really will jump the difficulty on you with huge spikes, and at times you'll get frustrated, but you'll never really be too angry not to keep continuing. You're gonna want to plug it in, just try again, see if you can beat your old time and all that other stuff. And there's so much things to do and unlock. It's really a game where I think people can enjoy just for some time, some tranquil time to yourself. It's not anything of the game of the year or nothing like that. It's just here, and it's cheap, and I recommend it. I actually do recommend it because it's something that was actually done well for like a kind of a quick money grab. Usually you expect this to be a quick money grab for the Wii, but it kind of reminds me of Super Monkey Ball to some extent. But the controls are really done well. I don't think you need the Wii Remote Plus to play it. You get this whole kind of like quick Sonic feel when you go through those loop-de-loops and all that stuff. I really would recommend you trying it out if you have a friend or anything. And even if you don't, it's cheap and you can just buy it. It's like maybe $5 at this point, and it's something you can just plug in and play for some quick fun. It might not be for everyone. If you're looking for something like a shooter, more story-based, or you're not gonna really enjoy this. You're gonna think, well, what's the point of this? But it's really just a tranquil game. The music is just calming, and it's just... Oh, whoa! Ooh! Now, it's just a good game to try out. Cat dies. Now, like always, reviewcell.webs.com. Donate to 6 Star Research, and I hope you had a good time seeing how this game is.